Picture this, you're at your granddaughter's birthday party, everyone's laughing at something silly she just said, and then it happens. That familiar panic. That split second where you realize you need to get to the bathroom right now, but you're not sure you'll make it. Or maybe you're the woman who started mapping out every single bathroom in every store you visit before you even start shopping. Maybe you've caught yourself holding back that genuine belly laugh because you're terrified of what might happen. If any of this sounds like your life right now, I need you to know something that might shock you. You've probably been told by friends, maybe even by some doctors, that this is just part of getting older. That it's normal. That you just need to accept it and stock up on those expensive pads and adult diapers. But what if I told you that's not the whole truth? What if I told you that 6 things you're probably doing every single day, things that seem completely harmless, maybe even healthy, are actually making your bladder control worse? And here's the part that's going to really surprise you. One of these habits is something that most women your age think is actually good for their health. I'm talking about something you might be doing right now, today, thinking you're taking care of yourself. Listen, I've been working in elderly care for over 15 years, and I've seen thousands of women who thought they were stuck with this problem forever. Women who stopped going to their book clubs, who quit their walking groups, who even avoided hugging their grandchildren because they were so afraid of having an accident. But then they discovered what I'm about to share with you today, and everything changed. These aren't complicated medical procedures or expensive treatments. These are simple everyday habits that you can start changing today. And when you do, you might be amazed at how quickly your confidence starts coming back. Before we dive into these 6 life-changing discoveries, I want you to do something for me. If you're tired, and I mean truly tired, of planning your entire day around bathroom locations, if you're ready to stop letting fear control your social life, if you want to laugh again without worry, comment "ready" right now. Because what you're about to learn isn't just information, it's your roadmap back to the confident, carefree woman you used to be. And if someone you love is struggling with this, your sister, your friend, your neighbor who's too embarrassed to talk about it, hit that like button and share this video. Because no woman should have to suffer in silence. Let's build a community where we support each other through these challenges. Subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide because we're not just sharing health tips, we're giving you back your freedom. Now, let's get into these 6 habits, because knowing them might just change your day-to-day life. Ready? Let's begin. Let's start with the first habit, and it's one I see more often than you'd think. Holding it in too long. Now, let me introduce you to Linda. She's 72. Sharp as ever, loves her crossword puzzles, and still walks her little terrier every morning. But Linda has this belief, she calls it bladder training. She tells herself, I won't go until I really have to. She thinks waiting longer will strengthen her bladder over time, like a workout. So, she waits. She waits while she watches her morning news. She waits through errands at the pharmacy. She waits while catching up with her neighbor by the mailbox. Until finally, she can't wait anymore. But here's what Linda doesn't know. Holding your urine for too long doesn't make your bladder stronger. It does the opposite. See, your bladder is a muscle. Just like your legs or your arms. And when you keep stretching it out past its comfort zone, it stops working the way it's supposed to. Instead of emptying smoothly, it gets confused. It starts sending mixed signals, urgency at the wrong time, or no signal until it's too late. The pelvic floor muscles, the ones holding everything in place, start to fatigue. And that's when accidents happen. Not because you're weak. But because your body's trying to deal with stress it shouldn't be under in the first place. Here's the thing, a lot of women think they're doing something smart. They think if they just tough it out, they'll gain more control. But it's not about toughing it out, it's about listening to your body and working with it. So, what can you do? Start simple. Set a timer on your phone, every 2 to 3 hours. That's it. Not when you feel desperate. Not when it's already too late. But consistently, calmly, and regularly. This helps your bladder relearn its rhythm. It reduces that unpredictable urgency. And most importantly, it gives you back a sense of control. Not reactive, panic-filled dashes to the bathroom. But peaceful, predictable breaks that your body can count on. Now, that's one powerful shift. But timing isn't the only problem. Because what you drink, especially first thing in the morning, might be quietly working against you. Now, let's talk about mornings. For many of us, mornings start with a warm cup of comfort. It's a ritual. A moment of peace before the day begins. But for Susan, she's 68, it's more than just a ritual. It's a must. 2 strong cups of black coffee. Every single morning. She sips while reading the paper, enjoying the quiet. But by mid-morning, she's already been to the bathroom 3 times. And it doesn't stop there. Quick trips to the store become stressful. Doctor's appointments? She scopes out the restroom the second she walks in. It's like her bladder is running the show, and she's just along for the ride. What Susan didn't realize is that those 2 innocent-looking cups of coffee, they're not as harmless as they seem. Caffeine is a double whammy for the bladder. First, it's a diuretic, which means it increases how much urine your kidneys produce. Second, it's a bladder stimulant. It makes the bladder twitchy, overactive, more sensitive. So not only are you making more urine, your bladder is reacting to it more intensely. It's like pouring water into a bucket with a firecracker at the bottom. You might feel fine one moment, and suddenly you're in a panic to find a bathroom. Now here's the part that trips people up. We think that extra cup of coffee gives us energy, right? It perks us up. Gets us going. But in reality, for many women, especially as we get older, that burst of energy comes at the cost of bladder spasms, urgency, and leakage. So, what can you do instead? Try scaling back to just 1 mild cup in the morning. And if you can, give decaf a chance, just make sure it's truly low in caffeine. Better yet, switch it up with an herbal tea that's gentle on your bladder. Chamomile is calming. Rooibos is naturally sweet and caffeine-free. Both give you that warm, comforting start to your day, without the mad dash to the toilet. Small change. Big difference. But sometimes, even if your bladder's doing its job, something else is working against it. Something you might not even notice. Let's move on to something that seems so innocent, you probably don't even think about it: how you sit. Meet Diane. She's 74 and recently retired. She loves her crime dramas, watches the news every evening, and enjoys a good cup of tea with her afternoon crossword. But over time, she started noticing a change. Little leaks during her shows, sudden urges that seemed to come out of nowhere. At first, she blamed it on her age, and then on that second cup of tea. But the real issue wasn't what she drank. It was how she was sitting. Diane had gotten used to her recliner, soft, cushy, and deeply slouched. Legs out, back curved, shoulders sunken. It felt relaxing, but inside her body, it was doing something very different. Poor posture puts pressure where it doesn't belong, right on your bladder. When you slouch, you compress your abdomen. That pushes down on your bladder and shifts the alignment of your pelvic floor. The muscles that are meant to hold everything in place, they get stretched, weakened, and misaligned. That makes it harder for them to support you when you cough, sneeze, or stand up suddenly. It's not about laziness or doing something wrong on purpose. It's just that comfortable doesn't always mean healthy. We're told to sit back and relax, but for your bladder's sake, it's time to rethink what relaxation looks like. So, what can you do? Start by sitting with purpose. Use a small lumbar support pillow behind your lower back. Sit upright, with your feet flat on the floor, knees bent at about a 90-degree angle. Keep your spine tall, shoulders relaxed, and pelvis in a neutral position, not tilted too far forward or back. This posture takes pressure off the bladder and allows your pelvic floor to function the way it's supposed to. You don't have to sit like a statue, but being mindful of your body makes a world of difference. Even just a few adjustments during your favorite TV shows or when you're reading can ease that constant tension and help you feel more in control. But now let's talk about something even more deceptive. Something that sounds like it's helping your bladder, but might actually be doing the opposite. A habit that comes from a good place, but can quietly turn into a daily struggle. Meet Evelyn. She's 76, active, sharp, and takes her health seriously. Her doctor once told her, "Drink plenty of water, it's good for your kidneys." And she took that advice to heart. 12 full glasses a day. Sometimes more. From morning to night, her water bottle was always within reach. But here's what Evelyn didn't expect. Along with staying hydrated, she also found herself constantly leaking. Sudden urges. Interrupted walks. Waking up 2, even 3 times a night to rush to the bathroom. At first, she didn't connect the dots. After all, water is supposed to be healthy, right? Yes, but too much of anything, even water, can overwhelm your system. Hydration is important, especially as we age. But there's a limit to how much the bladder can handle at once. And when you overload it, especially by drinking large amounts in a short time, you're flooding the bladder faster than it can signal and respond. The bladder isn't a bottomless bucket. It's more like a balloon. Fill it too fast, too often, and it starts to misfire. That's when urgency strikes before you're ready, or worse, when you can't get to the restroom in time. Here's a common misconception: more water equals more health. It's a message we've heard over and over, especially in wellness circles. But for older adults, moderation is more powerful than excess. The needs of your body change. Too much water can dilute important minerals, and wear out your bladder muscles trying to keep up. So, what's the right approach? Aim for 6 to 8 cups a day, depending on your activity level and climate. But more importantly, space it out. Sip steadily throughout the day, don't gulp it all down in the morning or before bed. And speaking of bedtime, cut back 1 to 2 hours before sleep. That simple change alone can reduce nighttime bathroom trips and help you get the deep rest your body needs. Evelyn made this shift, from drink all the time to drink with rhythm. And within a week, her leakage episodes dropped. Her confidence? Way up. Now, water might have surprised you, but this next habit? It almost never gets mentioned in conversations about bladder health. And yet, it's one of the most damaging of them all. Let's talk about something that almost never gets connected to bladder control, but has everything to do with it: constipation. Margaret is 81. She's kind, soft-spoken, and always brushes off her issues with a gentle wave of her hand. For months, she struggled with irregular bowels. She'd go a few days without movement, feel bloated, uncomfortable, then finally find relief, only to start the cycle again. She figured it was just part of getting older. A nuisance, sure. But nothing serious. Until her bladder started acting up. Unexpected leaks. That heavy, pressure-filled feeling in her lower belly. Moments where she almost made it to the bathroom, but not quite. At first, she thought maybe she was drinking too much tea. But the real issue was sitting deeper, right next door, in fact. Here's what most people don't know: when your bowel is full and backed up, it presses against your bladder. That pressure doesn't just create discomfort. It confuses the bladder's signals and disrupts the pelvic floor muscles, which are already working overtime. Think of it like traffic. If your bowel is backed up, it's like a pile-up blocking the bladder's normal flow. Your nerves get tangled. Your muscles can't contract properly. And suddenly, you're facing two problems instead of one. A common misconception? That constipation is just a tummy issue. That it's uncomfortable, but separate from everything else. But your pelvic system is a shared space. What affects one organ, affects them all. So, what can you do? Start simple. Increase your fiber, with fruits like pears and prunes, or veggies like spinach and carrots. Drink steady amounts of water, not too much, not too little. Move your body daily. A short walk after meals can do wonders for digestion. And here's a little trick that helps more than you'd expect: use a footstool when using the toilet. It elevates your knees, relaxes your pelvic muscles, and allows for a smoother bowel movement. No straining, no pushing. Margaret started doing this. She changed her diet, added a bit of walking into her evenings, and positioned her feet just right when using the toilet. Not only did her constipation improve, her bladder calmed down, too. But now, we've arrived at perhaps the most misunderstood habit of all. A quiet one. One that doesn't cause any sudden alarms, but slowly chips away at your strength, until one day, you wish you'd paid more attention. Let's talk about it now. Avoiding pelvic floor exercises. Martha is 79. She raised 4 kids, cooked every meal from scratch, and never asked for help unless she truly needed it. Strong-willed, independent, and like many women her age, she brushed off things that felt uncomfortable to talk about. Pelvic floor exercises? Kegels, she'd laugh. Not for me. Years went by. She thought bladder leaks were just another part of aging. Something to manage quietly with pads and spare undergarments in her purse. Until her doctor asked a simple question: "Are you doing any pelvic floor strengthening?" That moment changed everything. See, the pelvic floor is a muscle group, just like your arms, legs, or core. And just like any other muscle, it weakens without use. If you're not engaging those muscles, if you're not giving them the chance to stay active and strong, they begin to sag, lose tone, and eventually, fail to support your bladder when you need them most. The big myth? That once you're a certain age, there's nothing you can do. That it's too late. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Pelvic floor exercises work, at any age. Improvement is possible. In fact, some women in their 80s and even 90s report noticeable improvements in just a few weeks. Start with basic Kegels, gently tighten the muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine. Hold for a few seconds. Then release. Do this in sets, a few times a day, while watching TV, cooking, or relaxing. Or explore pelvic floor therapy, even from home. There are apps and tools made just for this. Simple, guided routines that help you stay consistent without overthinking it. That's what Martha did. She started small, just 5 minutes a day. Over time, her control improved. Her confidence returned. And that quiet shame she used to carry? Gone. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. Because these 6 habits? They don't scream for attention. They're subtle. They sneak into your routine. But left unchecked, they slowly chip away at your independence, your comfort, and your sense of control. And yet, every one of them can be changed. With a little awareness. A few small shifts. And a willingness to say, my body still deserves care. It's tough to talk about, isn't it? Bladder leaks. Accidents. That sudden rush of panic when you're out shopping or at a family gathering, and you feel it happening again. It can feel embarrassing. Isolating. Even shameful. But here's the truth I want you to hear, really hear: you're not broken. You're not less than. You're not alone. You're human. And this is just part of the journey your body has taken. A body that's carried you through so much. Through childbirth, caregiving, decades of movement, growth, and resilience. But now? Now it needs a little extra support. Not judgment. Not silence. Support. See, this isn't about pointing fingers or feeling bad about your habits. It's not about blaming yourself. It's about something deeper, something powerful. It's about reclaiming your dignity, your comfort, your control. Because you deserve to walk into a room without worry. To laugh, sneeze, or dance without that anxious voice whispering, "What if?" You deserve to sit on your porch, talk with a neighbor, hug your grandkids, without fear creeping in. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. And it starts small. Maybe today you decide to space out your water better. Or you try sitting with better posture while watching your favorite show. Maybe you do just 5 pelvic floor squeezes while brushing your teeth. Whatever it is, just choose one thing. One small habit to change. And see where it takes you. Because the truth is, these habits don't define you. And they don't have to control your life. You have more strength, more wisdom, and more power than you think. And when you pair that with a bit of knowledge and a whole lot of self-compassion, that's where change begins. That's where healing begins. That's where you start to get your confidence back. Step by step. Day by day. With love, and without shame. And remember, even when it feels like no one understands what you're going through, we do. And you don't have to face it alone. So, stay with me. Because we're in this together. And the next step? It's about building a community where women like you can speak openly, and live boldly. Let's move forward into that together. So, let's take a deep breath together. And gently go over what we've learned today. Here are the 6 habits senior women should try to avoid. Not out of fear, but out of love for your body and your well-being. 1. Holding it too long, thinking it strengthens your bladder, when it's actually weakening it. 2. Drinking too much caffeine, especially those strong morning coffees that feel comforting, but can cause more urgency and leaks. 3. Sitting with poor posture, which puts hidden pressure on your bladder and throws your pelvic floor out of balance. 4. Overhydrating. Thinking more water is always better, but overwhelming your bladder without realizing it. 5. Ignoring chronic constipation, not knowing how deeply it affects your entire pelvic system and bladder function. 6. Skipping pelvic floor exercises, believing it's too late to start, when every single day of effort can still make a difference. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to fix them all at once. Even choosing just one habit to work on can bring real relief. Sometimes, it's the smallest change that leads to the biggest comfort. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these habits surprised you the most? Or, have you already made a change in your routine and seen an improvement? Tell me in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another woman needs to feel less alone and more hopeful today. And if this video gave you even a little clarity or encouragement, I gently invite you to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Here, we don't chase perfection. We seek truth, self-care, and strength for the journey ahead, together. One honest conversation at a time. Thank you, truly, for spending these few meaningful minutes with me today. I know these topics aren't always easy to talk about, but they're important. And your willingness to listen, to learn, and to care about yourself, that means everything. So, stay strong. Stay curious. And never forget, you deserve to age with wisdom, with grace, and with joy. Until next time. This is Elderly Wisdom Guide, signing off with care.